Hello and welcome. I wanted to do something a little bit different, obviously by the title. I really wanted to do a book list for Danmei novels. So over the past year, I've just really been picking up a lot of series and I've really been enjoying them. So I thought it'd be fun to do a little tier list. Most of what I've been reading is localized through 7 Seas, though I have recently been able to get my hands on a handful of rosmei titles, which I've been very excited about. For anyone that is not aware, Danmei just refers to Chinese BL. Predominantly what we've gotten localized into English are novels. There's been a few manhwa, but I'm just focusing on novels themselves for this tier list. The tiers themselves. Number 1, love of my life, my new personality. These are things that just really clicked with me, things that I've ended up reading multiple times, things that I've engaged in the fandom around, whether it's fan art, fan writings, fan theories, and just stuff that I still am regularly thinking about, and just, if it hasn't been completed yet, stuff that I'm just really excited to kind of see where it goes. We've got our solid treat. These are things that I would recommend, I really enjoyed, but aren't necessarily like so consuming that I'm thinking about it constantly, wondering where it's going to be going, and kind of scouring the internet for any little bits and pieces that I can find from other fans of the series. Next we've got is waiting to be pulled in. So this is anything that I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it yet, whether it's something that's been completed and I'm still kind of mulling over how the ending went, or if it's a series that I'm still kind of debating on whether I'm gonna pick up the next book for. That would kind of fall into that tier. And then we've got our last, which is the not for me tier. This is anything that I ended up DNFing, or anything that I've just decided, you know what, when and done, I'm not picking up the next book in this, or I completed it and I was just really not happy with it. Anything like that would fall into this tier. And as always, just a tiny disclaimer, these are just opinions. This is just themes that I enjoy or didn't enjoy. So I apologize if something you really love is in the not for me list. It doesn't mean any of these are bad, it just wouldn't be for me. Starting with Everyone Loves the Cannon Fodder. So this is one of our rosmei titles. It's a transmigrated story. Song Yu ends up in a web novel that's set in a modern setting. I definitely thought it was cute. So far we only have 1 volume of the series out, but if you do enjoy kind of like isekai, transmigrated types of stories, I did feel like some of the things that were happening were very predictable. I am hoping volume 2 will have a little more of a twist, something intriguing happening in it, but I definitely enjoyed it. So I'm a little bit torn between solid treat and waiting to be pulled in. I think just because I'm hoping for a little bit more from volume 2, I'm going to plop it down here and waiting to be pulled in. Okay, our next one is Ballad of Sword and Wine. This is our political intrigue Danmei. I love this series. I have really been enjoying it. I've been enjoying kind of like the deep detail it goes into. Most specifically, I think out of all the series that I've read so far, I just really love the interaction between Xiao Qia and Shen Zexuan. I just feel like they have like such a good rapport between each other. I really love the dynamic. I really love kind of like the tension written between the two of them, and I'm really excited to see where the series goes. I do need to finish the book that just came out, I think like yesterday. I haven't started it just yet, but I'm really excited to see where the series goes. Now we've got the Husky and his white cat Shizun. I like this series a lot. I do think it has a lot of very interesting aspects to it. I think I might put it into solid I'm a little bit torn between Love of My Life and Solid Tree, because I do also interact with a lot of fan stuff for Erha. I think I'm going to put it into my new personality, because I do engage pretty regularly with the fandom for this as well, and I still do regularly think about it, and realistically I could definitely see myself rereading it repeatedly as well. Heaven Official's Blessing. I definitely enjoyed this series. I think I'm going to put it into solid treat. It's not my absolute end all be all. I'm definitely not engaging with it as much as I am with other series, but I did really love it. I think it's really well written. I really do love like the Blackwater arc. I feel good about putting in Solid Treat. I know there's some people who do not agree with that, but I feel like for me that's where Heaven Officials is. So now we've got Remnants of Filth. So this one unfortunately did fall into the not for me section. So this is another book written by Meat Bun, who also wrote The Husky and his white cat Shizun. I don't think this series is badly written. I think a lot of people will enjoy it if they pick it up. It just wasn't for me. There are just some things in it that I wasn't personally comfortable with and did not enjoy, specifically around Gumang, but I know a lot of people love this series. It just wasn't for me. I finished the first book. I won't be continuing it. So now moving on to the Scum villains self-serving system. So this is another one that I just absolutely love. I don't know if it's because it is another transmigrated into a novel series. I do really enjoy kind of that trope, or if it's just because it's the first MXTX that I ended up picking up and I just got really attached to it because of that. But I just love this series. I still regularly read it basically once a quarter. I really enjoyed the themes in it. I really enjoyed the unreliable narrator that is Shen Yuan, and I just think it was really well done. Now we've got our Legend of Exorcism. This is another one that so far we've only gotten one book of the series out so far. Legend of Exorcism and the Scum villain. I think of all of the Danmei art, I think these two series right now are my absolute favorite. I just love them. They look so beautiful. The books look so beautiful. So far, I definitely put it into Solid Treat. I definitely just finished this one recently, so I'm definitely still processing, so we'll see if it gets bumped up to my personality, but for now it's definitely a Solid Treat. We've got our final MXTX, which is the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, and I'm going to say also a Solid Treat for me. Not quite up there with my new personality, love of my life. Definitely enjoyed it. In terms of likelihood of a reread, I just don't think it is as high as the other three in the top tier, but I do think realistically I'm more likely to reread this than I am Heaven Officials Blessing. All of these are solid. Realistically, I'll reread them at some point, but just in if I'm thinking about the enjoyment that I got from them, I think I would probably more regularly reread Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. So the next one we have is the Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish. I thought this was super cute. This was a great fluff break between a lot of the other heavier books with a lot of heavier themes. I am putting it in Solid Treat. There was one thing that happened in the last book that I just would have preferred if it didn't happen the way that it happened. But aside from that, I did really enjoy it. I think it is a cute read. So now we're going into our final two, which are Infinite Flow, Unlimited Flow, which is basically a horror genre of someone getting pulled into a survival horror game situation. Starting off, we've got Kaleidoscope of Death, and this is another one. My new personality. I absolutely love this. Although it is a horror series, I did find Ron Nanju so funny so many times in the first book. So this is another one. We only have the first book out for it. He was just so ridiculous at so many points, and in terms of the actual horror aspect, I found this one to be so interesting so far. I'm really excited to see where the next books go. That brings us to our final book, which is Global Examination. So this is another one that I'm waiting to be pulled in for. I'm still debating if I'm going to get the next book. I'm not entirely sure, so it's a little bit torn between these two. I wasn't as engaged in the horror elements of this. I am debating on if it's a matter of, because I read this relatively soon after I had read Kaleidoscope of Death, so I don't know if because I enjoyed Kaleidoscope of Death so much, maybe that's why it tainted a little bit of my enjoyment of Global Examination. I just wasn't as engaged with it. Aspects of it, I don't know, it gave me a little bit of like guide verse vibes to it as well. There's definitely the potential that I'll pick up the second one. I'm just not entirely sure yet because it really didn't draw me in. So it's floating between these two. But I suppose for now I'll stick it in for the waiting to be pulled in. No, I think these are kind of where they fall for me right now. Maybe after I've read a bit more and processed a bit more, maybe they'll float around a little bit. I definitely can't imagine. I definitely think in terms of this is probably where those three are. I will see after I've had a little bit more time to process if anything gets moved around and as more series gets added on here. 7 Seas in particular has added so many localizations that they're doing over the next year or so. We're finally getting hard copies of Scum and I'm so excited. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. Maybe I'll do a breakdown more specifically of like individual books in the series. That might be a little bit overwhelming, but we'll see. I hope you enjoyed this and I will see you in the next one.